Good afternoon, everyone. At about 8:47 today, a 911 call came into the Shrewsbury Police Department regarding a dispute on the bridge down by the Jordan Pond. Shortly after that, gunshots could be heard on the 911 call. The Shrewsbury Police immediately responded to the scene. Upon arriving at the scene, they found a man down, and an immediate call was put out for assistance. Auburn Police, Westboro Police, Boylston Police, and State Police responded as well. Chief immediately put a lockdown in place for the safety of residents at a nearby school. The gentleman who was shot early was walking his child to the school, was returning from the school when he interacted with a man on the bridge. It appeared that the man was doing some type of spray painting. He took a picture of the man. That started the altercation. The person then had a dispute. As I said, the gunshots were heard. Shrewsbury PD responded. Where we are now is the person walked from the scene, was talked to by the State Police stop team. He surrendered himself sometime later. And with regards to that, we are currently executing a warrant on the residence, and we'll have more for you a little later. We're still in the early stage of the investigation. There are no formal charges at this time, and I'm going to turn it over to Chief at this point.
Thank you. First and foremost, we would like to send our thoughts and prayers to the friends and family of the victim of this tragic incident. This morning at 8:48 a.m., Shrewsbury Police received a 911 call that a altercation was taking place on a pathway next to Jordan Pond. While officers were responding, dispatch advised that they could actually hear shots over the 911 call. Officers arrived, they located a victim, provided medical attention, and that victim was transported to a local hospital where tragically he died of his injuries. A local elementary school, out of an abundance of caution, was placed in lockdown, and a suspect was taken into custody, and that lockdown has been lifted. I would like to thank all our state and local partners for the assistance in this investigation. And again, our thoughts and prayers go out to the friends and family of this tragic incident.
I'd also just like to add that people that have been involved in this case include the Shrewsbury Police, initial responders to the scene, the Mass State Police, the stop team, the K-9 units, the air wing, crime scene services, everybody working together seamlessly. Again, it's early in the investigation, and our thoughts and prayers are with our deceased victim and his family. Be limited on the questions, but we'll see if we can take a few.
The victim is walking home from school. And
Victim was walking their 6-year-old child to school. Child was on a scooter. Left the child at the school, Coolidge School Chief.
Yes.
He's walking back with the scooter and the child's helmet. He saw a person on the bridge, apparently, with a can of spray paint, possibly tagging. He took a picture that started an altercation. That person, our victim, called the Shrewsbury Police Department. As the 911 call was being recorded, we heard gunshots. Shrewsbury PD responded to the scene. The person was suffering from several gunshots. Passed sometime at the scene, in between then in the hospital, not sure at this point. Again, early in the investigation. School was notified. Chief put a lockdown in place to make sure everything that should be done because it was early in the investigation, and the initial steps just brought us to many different areas, but a lockdown was put into place.
Have you dealt with this? First, before we were talking to neighbors, they said he might have had other altercations with people in that area over the last few days.
Can we speak on?
Yeah, you can speak to that.
Yes, we have.
And additionally, was the suspect involved in any other attacks in the past few years, maybe like a machete attack in Westboro?
The defendant had another case, a 2022 case out of Westboro. He was in default for a period of time. That case was brought in Westboro. My understanding was dismissed sometime in July. He is known to the Shrewsbury Police Department.
Are you not identifying the suspect at this point?
No.
Okay. And apart from that, where the arrest happened, is that where the spray painting was also taking place, that same location?
I can't get into it at this point. You know, police have made some observations about spray paint. The exact spray painting and all of that can't get into this point. He has been arrested. He is at the Shrewsbury Police Department right now. We're executing a search warrant for the home where he retreated to after the shooting, and where he surrendered to the state police stop team.
Is he known to be from Shrewsbury or?
Yes.
The 911 operator said heard shots. The 911 operator was on the phone with the victim who heard those shots?
Yes. 911 operator was on the phone with the victim who was reporting altercation and then heard the shots and advised the officers as they were responding that they could hear the shots over the 911 line.
Chief, does this appear to be a random encounter, or was this something that led up to today's event?
Early in the investigation, we don't want to speculate as to anything until we have solid facts to base an answer on. What it appears is there was an interaction. I can't tell you what precipitated the interaction, whether or not they were known to each other, but this interaction led to the shooting and one person being dead at this point.
You mentioned responding to the suspect, and if I heard correctly, what was the nature of the calls to respond to the suspect?
For today,
You mentioned in the previous days, I think is what I heard.
well, we are familiar with this suspect.
Can you describe?
We don't
what
want. We
complaints
can't get into anything more than that at this point. You know, our rules of professional conduct don't allow us to go any further. We're going to see what he's charged with, see what the search warrant brings back to us, and we're going to go from there. And then we'll make a formal decision with regards to charges. And if we have anything else to say, it'll probably be said in the courtroom after that.
The house where he came from was spray painted with slogans like Black Lives Matter, Free Palestine. Can you speak to that?
No, we can't get into any of that. Don't know if he did it. Don't. Our understanding is there is different spray paint with the terms you've mentioned, but just can't speculate. Who did that? How it was done at this point?
Was he spray painting a message on the bridge?
Can't get into that at this point.
Any license to carry?
No license to carry.
And was the weapon recovered?
Can't get into that at this point. Search warrant, we're hoping is going to bear fruit with regards to a lot of the stuff that occurred this morning. It's being reviewed now by our appeals unit. I imagine we'll be executing that sometime this afternoon.
How old is the victim or the suspect?
Not sure of the victim's age. Do you have an age on the suspect? Do you have an age?
Range?
57 on the victim? 57 on the victim. Do you have an age on the approximately 26 years old on the suspect.
Can you just describe how you were able to get the suspect to surrender? He came out and applied with the tactical team, but was there negotiation going on prior to that, or did he just walk out and surrender?
Not sure on that. I believe there was some conversation. I can't speculate to it. We'll know more within the next hour or two. It's early. I don't. I'd have to guess, and I don't want to do that right now.
Chief, you call this tragic. People are just processing what you're describing. Guys walking this 6-year-old to school and on the way back is shot up and killed in Shrewsbury. So your reaction to that as chief and as a community where this stuff doesn't happen?
Yeah, I think it's a senseless tragedy and just an awful incident. And again, our hearts go out to the family and friends of the victim.
Yeah.
Very sad.
It is, and that's, these guys have a job to do. And you can't separate the job from the human reactions, and they're all involved, they're all processing all of this now. We just keep moving in that direction. They're professionals. My hat's off to them. To Shrewsbury, to the state police, they do this job day in and day out. They're professionals. You're going to hear them get knocked from time to time. It's part of the job. We all get criticized. But the work that we see done is truly, they're professionals and no one does it better. All right? Yeah.
The victim called 911 before the shooting, and I mean, when you call 911,
Yes.
911 doesn't trip to Shrewsbury, right?
It does.
When you call 911,
Yes. No, close to
directly.
Yep.
So he called 911, and he's saying there's an altercation, and the next thing your dispatcher hears shots fired, and then nothing.
Yes. As we were responding, dispatch reported to us they could actually hear shots over the 911 call.
And then nothing.
And nothing.
On the same note, I was wondering if you could speak to the fact that this 6-year-old went to school, saw their dad, and now they're going to get picked up from school and their dad's just not going to be there.
Yes, very sad.
Yeah. Yeah, let's leave it at that. All right, thank you.
Right now, what you're seeing here is the press conference wrapped up by Shrewsbury PD and authorities, giving us the very latest here on the search for the armed and dangerous suspect. It is still very early in the investigation, but here's what authorities were able to share with us at this hour. This morning, a victim was shot while walking after taking his child to school. Police say an altercation happened between the 57-year-old victim and the 26-year-old suspect. This was on the pathway near Jordan Pond. Now, police tell us it was actually the victim who called police, and police could hear gunshots while they were taking this call for help. Right now, police say they believe the victim took a picture of the suspect, believed to be spray painting. Police wouldn't elaborate on what exactly was being spray painted at the time. Shots were fired, and the victim has died of his injuries. The elementary school that was nearby was under lockdown, but that has now been lifted, and they do have a suspect in custody.